ingredient can give more negative impact in terms of because they have the polymer and something like can disrupt your natural skin. That's why we use natural ingredients. However, as I mentioned in my presentation, if you don't combine the ingredients, the natural ingredients, with the technology, so you may find that the effect is very slow. Maybe 2 years, 3 years, okay? So you can get very slow impact compared to use synthetic ingredient, okay? But if you combine with the technology, for example, in my case, I combine with micellar nanotechnology, and I use green micellar nanotechnology as well, okay? High tech, green tech, and deep tech. So you can get very good result by using natural ingredients combined with nanotechnology. So as the consumers, you need to be very alert, and you have to differentiate. Yeah, know how to differentiate the good natural product and not so good natural products. Because if you declare your product, for example, one brand declare the product contain honey, for example, yeah, doctor? Maybe only 5% honey in the product. Another 95% are synthetic ingredients. So it's not about the honey not good, but it's not sufficient. Because in the product, a lot of other not good ingredients added. Okay, so that's the thing we need to understand about skincare. If people told you that one particular natural ingredient is good, you need to ask how many percent? How many percent natural ingredients in the product? For example, in my product, for cleanser, energy mist, and serum, is up to 95% natural. And we are only one in the market in Malaysia, sunscreen with 50% natural ingredients. So this thing can be, the very good and unique selling proposition for your products. And people who understand the safety and toxicity of the product can understand, and this is your target market. Okay? Hope I answer the Fisher question. Okay, thank you.
We still have time for one other questions. Do you want to ask a question, sir? Okay.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ma'am. Let me introduce myself. My name is Shukra, and I am delighted to see and also hear about what you have already explained about the presentation. And one big question in my mind related with your explanation about this one. You have explained us that the product is a collaborative product between the natural resources and also related with the nanotechnology. I know that for combining this, of course, it will improve the quality, and also it will increase, that for the value itself. So it will attract the quality for the consumer. But we know that in Indonesia, there have been so many lands that are provided to provide the natural resources. But in Malaysia, of course, this is not about the comparative one, but we know that the land, for the farmland, to provide for the natural resources will get less and less because of the challenging with the providing the lands and also with the houses and etc. Do you would you mind explaining us how to cover this? What the strategy that you do in order to maintain about the what do you call the capacity and also the ingredients that will be provided and available. I mean that because the land will get less and less. Or do you combine between the technology itself and to make it still available, to make it, I mean that you can, for example, harvest it in several periods of time, so you can maintain that it can be provided for a long time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I agree you have a lot of land to farm your natural ingredients. Okay, I am very impressed. You worry about that. I really think you shouldn't worry about that. Because in our skincare and cosmetic, actually we just use, for example, my product only use 0.1% of some ingredients. You don't use a lot. Okay? So, okay, that's number one. It's not like food. Food you use a lot. For example, you need to use 1 kilogram of roselle to make a tub of drink, roselle drink. But you just need one kilogram of roselle to produce maybe 300 cleanser, you know. Yeah. So, and for example, in my case, I use roselle, dried roselle as well. So we have the stock for dried roselle in case we cannot find the fresh roselle. And not also that, we already we have the extracted roselle in our fridge as well, and the oil that been extracted before as well. So we can control and design the stock. Okay? And being as businessman, you also need to have a plan B. If Malaysia do something in Malaysia, I cannot find roselle. I need to, to find roselle somewhere else, like in Indonesia, Egypt, for example. In Egypt, they have a lot of roselles. So, yeah, we as a business woman, we already have plan B, plan C to make sure the production will not be affected if something happened to the raw materials. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for the questions and also the answer. So, we still have time, by the way. Okay, I don't know this gonna be the last question or not. Let's see. Is there anybody who wants to ask the questions? Okay, there are two people. Would you like to choose? Okay, can we have the committee? Is it okay to have another two questions? Only one. Yes, also you can meet Professor Siti after this meeting, or maybe you can share also your email so that people with a lot of questions can ask you by emails. All right, the last questions, which one? Indra. Sir Indra from Cosmetology Department.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for the occasion given to me. I have a question. When I see your slide, it's really interesting topic, I think. But there is something that struck my mind, I think. When we see or read all the study about skincare, cosmetology, they always focus on women. Yeah. Really? It's like in your slide last time, needed by all women, like that. it's like there is limitation about the use of skincare like that. What about the men like that? Yeah. When we are talking about anti-aging, or skincare others, of course, focus on women and like when several studies that I read, uh, in their research, they always like doing experiments with the subject is woman like that. There is no research that I found that focus on men like that. So what do you think about that? In my
Okay.
opinion, there is a big opportunity about that. Like, I mean, the market of skincare, especially for men, I think there is big opportunity in business item, I think. What do you think about that?
Okay.
Or in a future time, we don't know that maybe men have bigger, what's that, care about their skin maybe. And
Okay,
maybe,
thank you so much, Indra.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I think you have very nice and beautiful smile. Yeah, and you are
Thank you
very
very much.
handsome. Okay.
Maybe he can be the model for the
Yeah, that's
NKH
what I
Okay.
want
reverse.
to say.
We can
I think
talk
yeah,
next time
we
like
can
that.
talk. You can be the model for my product.
Okay, thank you very much.
And perhaps, yeah, I think you have very good smile and suitable for my concept.
Okay, thank you,
Okay,
Prof.
thank you. I answer very, in short time. I don't want to use a lot of time for this. Yeah, my husband used my product, and during the majlis dengan kawan lama tu kita panggil apa?
Teman lama? Iya, teman lama. Sahabat lama.
Apa?
Reunian?
Reunion, yes. My husband is 47 years old, and the reunion with his friends from old school, and he asked me to take picture of him and his friend. And I realized that my husband's face is very glowing. Yeah, compared to the others. So this is really good. The product. Okay, I really want to show this. Okay, you cannot see in the box. Actually, we put "Look Youngest" as the motto. My product motto is "Look Youngest." That means if you use this product, you will definitely look younger than your age. So my husband does look younger compared to his friend. And actually, a lot of men also want to take care of their appearance and more alert nowadays. However, the wife will buy the product for them. Okay, so in the business world, women have more purchasing power. So if we want to go further and faster in the market, we create product that focusing on women first. Then men will come along after that. Okay, so with Indra in my team right now, so I hope we can penetrate Padang. Okay, that's all. Thank you so much, Ima. Ami.
Thank you very much. No gender bias for skincare, yeah? And we cannot wait for Mr. Inda debut as a model for NK reverse, NKH reverse. Okay, everyone, thank you all for your engaging questions and discussions as we wrap up the insights from our first speaker, Professor Dr. Siti Hamidah binti Muhammad Setapar. We explore several compelling topics and her presentations from big issues in the skincare industry and then shed light on the critical challenges faced by the industry today. And she also offered a perfect solution for the customer by highlighting the most essential skincare products needed by all the women and men. We learned about her innovative NK age reverse product and discussed various business models that can drive success in this field. Additionally, Professor Siti also shared how she has successfully expanded her market while making a significant impact in skincare sector. So thank you very much, Professor Siti, for sharing your expertise and inspiring us with your vision for the future skincare. Give a big applause for Professor Siti. Okay, before we end this session, I would like to take a moment to present a token of appreciations to our esteemed speaker, Professor Dr. Siti. And we will give you a souvenir and also certificate. So we invited our Dean of Faculty of Tourism and Hospitality, Professor Dr. Randa Asmar Yulastri, MPD PhD, for giving the souvenirs. And also we invited our Vice Rectors, Professor Dr. Ani Farida, to give the souvenirs. And we would also invite our Vice Deans and coordinators of the committee to join us and accompany the Dean and also the Vice Rectors. Okay, maybe we can go to in front of this table, and we invited our Dean, Vice Rectors, and also Vice Deans, and the head of the committee.
We also kindly invite GM Hotels, our partnership, for having a photo session on the stage.
First, we will give the certificate from the Vice Rectors of Universitas Negeri Padang to Professor Siti Hamidah. Yeah, picture. And then
One, two, and three. Once more. One, two, and three.
And next, the souvenirs will be presented by the Dean of the Faculty of Tourism and Hospitality, Professor Dr. Randa Asmar Yulastri, MPD PhD.
Okay, we start.
One,
Count.
two, three. Once more. One, two, three, smile. All right. Yeah. Thank you again, Professor Siti Hamidah binti Muhammad Setapar, for sharing your knowledge and insight with us today. We truly appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you in the upcoming discussions and activities. Give another applause to Professor Dr. Siti Hamidah binti Muhammad Setapar. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now I'm excited to introduce you to our second speakers. So, over the past 2 days, I have had the privilege of accompanying her and I'm truly impressed by her remarkable background. So she has a strong foundation in food science, but has immersed and deeply into the world of cooking and also the culinary arts. So this unique blend of expertise has allowed her to bridge the gap between the culinary practices, food science, and food technology, culminating in innovative program known as culinology. And just yesterday, our student also had the opportunity to learn from her during a guest lecture on the science behind cooking, where she shared invaluable insight that inspired us all. And I'm particularly fascinated by the innovation she's currently developing. So, please join me in welcoming Associate Professor Chong Lee Chu, Director of Food Security and Nutrition Impacts Laboratory at Taylor's University, Malaysia. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you for being us today, Dr. Chong. So, how was your time in Padang?
It's been great. This is my first time in Padang, but not the first time in Indonesia. I love the food here.
Okay. I heard that you have a cold. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. So, I hope that you will get better.
Yep. Thank
All
you.
right. Today, Dr. Chong will presenting on futuring proving food and beverage industry through sustainable innovation, where she will discuss the key strategies and insights for ensuring the industry thrives in rapidly changing world. So, but before that, I would like to share a brief biography of you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Chong Lee Chu, an associate professor at Taylor University, School of Food Studies and Gastronomy, has made transformative contributions to food system for over 2 decades through her extensive research, education, and industry collaborations. She holds a PhD in food technology, specializing in food processing and preservation. Dr. Chong is renowned for her expertise in healthy and functional food product innovations, sustainable processing, and ingredient technology. Her groundbreaking work has led to securing and managing research grant totaling over 2 million Malaysian ringgit, demonstrating her ability to drive a passionate advocate for food sustainability. Dr. Chong focuses on revalorizing local agricultural byproducts into healthy food products. And she actively supports the local food industry and F&B service sectors with her innovative research and practical solutions. Her pioneering work in utilizing agricultural byproduct for sustainable food processing has set new standards in the industry. With 12 years of higher education, she has mentored numerous future leaders and research fellows in food and nutrition security, ensuring graduates are equipped to advance food sustainability. Dr. Chong's significant contribution has earned her the Food System Impact Change Award 2024 and the prestigious American Research Chef Association President's Award in 2022. Wow. Underscoring her dedication to advancing food science with a focus on sustainability and health. Now, without further ado, we please Dr. Lee Chu and Dr. Chong Lee Chu, and the time is yours.
Thank you so much, Miss Ami, for interesting introductions. Okay, yeah, maybe let the slide get ready. I think it's okay. Yeah. Yes, first of all, good morning to our guests. I'm honored to be invited here to the 7th International Conference of Culinary, Fashion, Beauty, and Tourism. As my background introduced by Miss Amy, I'm very much into the food security. My mission and vision personally is how we can push this industry better. Therefore, today I would like to share some insight with you how future-proofing food and beverage, or we call F&B industry, through sustainable innovations. Okay? Okay. Yep. As introduced by Miss Amy, my background, I'm a trained food technologist. And 20 years ago when I graduated from my degree, and I found that my passion is in product innovation. I have a story to tell about why I into this area. And every time people are curious, why as a food technologist, at the end, I ended up in kitchen. Yes, they call me instant noodles lady. Oh, okay. Okay, why instant noodle? Because since I'm young, I love instant noodle. And we all know instant noodle is the best tasty food in the world when we are kids. However, my parents stopped me from that. They were like, no, no way for you to eat. It's no good. I'm like, okay, why? They said, they will have cause you cancer, bring you high blood pressure because of the salt content. Yeah, since that day onwards, I'm thinking, why no one go into the food industry and make our food better? Can a food be as healthy as they are delicious? So since then, I have made up my mind to join the food industry as a food technologist. And when I'm doing my degree study, doing my master study, I found I'm meeting one problem. I'm lacking the knowledge, the skill in culinary. I can produce a healthy food, but I might not able to come out with a delicious food without the skill as a chef or the culinary. So since then, I decided to join these two. So this is my background. As a trained food technologist, now I claim myself as a research chef who can innovate product using science knowledge and using my culinary skill in develop better tasty products. Okay. Yep. Yes, this is Taylor's University. I'm from Taylor's University, Malaysia. This is our campus. I would say that this is a very beautiful campus, despite it is small. And throughout the 13 years with Taylor's University, I've been with Taylor's University for the past 13 years. I'm happy to witness how Taylor's University, as the private university that been named the #1 private university in Malaysia, and we are the top 50 university in Asia. And I'm also proudly to be the part of Faculty of Social Science and Leisure Management, where our hospitality and tourism discipline is listed at the top 20 in the world. Yeah, so with that, today I would like to share with you some of the insight about what are the opportunity, challenges, as well as the trend that actually shaping the F&B industry nowadays. Okay, before we can know what's the future, what we can understand about our future, most important is to know the current landscape of the F&B. If you look at F&B market, I'm proud, and I think all of you here should be proud because you are at the right industry. We know despite when COVID happened, all the industry are facing very much, I would say, challenges. Food industry definitely impacted, but is smaller as compared. and F&B industry stand very strong throughout this difficult time. And if you look at the global market F&B, we are achieving about 7 trillions, okay, USD in 2024. These have given us a very good indicator. And from the study or from the statistic, it also shows that there is a steady growth of the food industry from 2024 up to 2028, with the how much is the GPA? About 4.5 or up to 5%. So this gives us a very strong confidence that F&B will be the next future. Yeah, looking at the good market report, the statistics show to us, we are even more happy to see the top five countries, they are leading the food industry, mostly from Asia. And yes, Indonesia are one of the top 5 countries that making this revenue. So congratulations to all of you, because you are part of the Indonesian industry that contributed to this amount. Meaning the economy of Indonesia can be one of the driven factor by the F&B industry, which is part of or subset of the hospitality industry. Yeah. All right. This is the data from the global research statistic company to tell us what are the new product launch for the past 2 years, especially on the 2023 and the 2024. And I have shown you here is what are those products, new product launch in Indonesia itself in 2024. And the statistics have given a very encouraging, I would say, trend, because the top 3 products you can see here is bakery, snack, sauces. All right. So sauces is one of the indicator. When sauces is the top product, new product being launched in the market, especially in Indonesia, meaning this product, which is much related to F&B service industry, means our restaurant, our hotel, they are a growth, they are in relation or correlation with this trend. Okay, sorry. Yes, this is what I mean. If you look at the F&B global industry on food service sector, the trend is not just in Asia, but globally they are increasing. And as well as, I will say that it's a very positive after the COVID. We know that during COVID, most of our F&B business are facing challenges. If you look at the breakdown, the subset of the F&B service sector, very much, no matter it's global or the Asia Pacific trends, restaurant is still the major, I would say, holders of the F&B industry. However, we can see the upcoming one is the quick service restaurant, meaning consumer nowadays looking for something quick and convenience. You have no choice but how to turn your restaurant operation, your hotel services operation to be more quick, at the same time can fulfill what the consumer wants. So this gives us a better picture what area we should be focusing on if you are going to be advising or students that are in this area should know where is your focus. All right. Now, after we looking at the market trend, what are the current position of the F&B service industry? What is next? Okay. So here we can see why sustainable and innovation trend. As a director of Food Security and Nutrition Impact Lab, my mission is to get all the people, I would say not just Malaysia, not students from Taylor's, but all over the world, to know that sustainability will be the next big wave to our industry. You have to look at what are the sustainable strategy that you can do to make the industry better and last longer. All right, so if I'm going to compound on summary, what are the trends or strategy the industry have been using to push sustainability and as well as their business sustainability is through these six big area. Number one, you can see is focusing on local resourcing. Local resourcing, I think when it comes to Indonesia, you are blessed because your land are full of resources. There are so much potential for you to look into what you can develop from the resources, from the local agriculture that you have with you currently. And as we always encourage low carbon footprint, this is a global issue. And global warming, all this is because of the environmental issue, the carbon dioxide emissions, that happen. And we know when it comes to food, the food supply chain are so long, right? From the agriculture farming to the post-harvest processing, all the way to the consumer or to the restaurant, hotel, it takes so long. And a lot of time we used to import products or ingredients, especially corn. We have no choice. From the US, we have to import wheat. Yes, but have you ever think, actually, in Indonesia, in Asia, Southeast Asia, we have a lot of good crop. Yeah, we do, yeah. So, yeah, why not we look at this potential to make it into stable food, our stable ingredients. With that, you can cut down, shorten the food supply chain, and as well definitely reduce the carbon footprint. So this is number one the strategy that you can use in designing your products or your menu or your food business. And next we can see is zero waste. This is also one of the area I really into. When the waste issue haven't been solved, when we're talking about zero hunger. UN SDG number 2, zero hunger. Zero hunger, right? Yeah, so in the food industry, in the culinary industry, we're talking about zero hunger. No people get hungry. But unfortunately, in the record, I don't have the data in Indonesia, but in Malaysia, we waste so much food waste. Waste itself, yeah, it can cover in one day, the food waste generated can cover 3 Olympic-sized swimming pool. This is sad. When we say that there are certain people at certain corner or region that are hungry, they have no food, but we are still wasting that much, meaning that there is a problem in managing our food. So here recently I'm working with WWF and looking at how we can develop a guideline for the hospitality industry to reduce the food waste. We all know when it comes to hospitality industry, not just the F&B, the hotel itself, the food business is the core. So we have buffet for breakfast, we have good food for lunch, yeah, we have dinner, and we are very hospitality person, especially Asian. So we have to make sure our guests are full, yeah. So we provide a lot of food, and at the end, unfortunately, there are a lot of waste. This is sad to know. So that's why, in order for you to have a sustainable business in culinary, waste will be your ultimate mission. How to do that? In my later part, I will share a little bit more. So zero waste, please put in mind, this is your mission and vision. And as a university UMP, I think you can be the leader in leading this and become the pioneer or the pilot to show to other university or the hospitality industry what you can do, especially in educating the student who are the future talents of F&B. Yeah. Oh, so, okay, the next one is offering plant-based option. Yesterday in my talk, I have shared a little bit more on why plant-based. I always highlight, in the food, we cannot be too biased, whether we have to choose animal-based or plant-based. There should be a win-win situation, or we say balance between these two industries. Plant-based is an option. We have to cater to some category of people who can't take animals' products. So with your plant-based menu, definitely you will attract or include this group of potential customers to you. Let me give you an example. If you have 10 of you in office, you want to celebrate birthday, go out to a makan-makan, right? Unfortunately, I should not say unfortunately, 2 of the colleagues is vegetarian. In this case, where friends or colleagues who are vegetarian, you have no choice. You have to choose a vegetarian restaurant, right? But if you are doing a F&B business and you are smart enough to include plant-based option in your menu, do you think that this 10 person or people can go to your restaurant while the 2 vegetarian actually can enjoy their food as well? So this actually will boost up your business as well. So plant-based will be a good option for you to include in your menu or in your business, F&B business. So bear this in mind. All right, after the 3 strategy, we can also look at another 3 which very much I think is more to the development side of products or menu. And one of it very important is looking for more product that is nutrition dense or purposely designed for certain people. Consumer nowadays, they don't want to be generalized. True enough that we think that, I want someone to design something for me. I like to, I have some allergic to lactose. I can't take lactose. I'm a lactose intolerance patient. I wish someone can come up with the food for me. If I'm a celiac disease patient, I allergic to wheat gluten, I can't eat. I'm looking forward that someone can actually design some food for me. Then we will feel more privileged. We will enjoy our food more. So when it comes to food business, you have to think about this. Even though you can come out with a very nutritionist dense products, but customized for certain people, personalize the food for them. Example, kids. When you have kids, you hope your kids to eat healthy. You hope that there is products or there are products that specially designed for them. When you are a middle-aged, adults like me, I hope someone actually tell me that, you know what, this food is for you. We have purposely enhanced, collagen inside the food so that at this age, you care about beauty, like Dr. Siti mentioned. So we want to consume more ingredients of food that actually can enhance our beauty. So when we think that, oh, this product is for me, I feel belongs. And at the end, I can become a loyal customer to the food or to the restaurant itself. So customization, personalized nutrition, it will be the strategy or the direction. Okay, next is about technology-driven. When we say that, why everyone talking about environmental friendly? Okay, maybe we haven't felt the pain because it doesn't really, sorry to say, kill us directly, but you realize and also hear from the committee that for the past few days, Padang have been very hot, right? Why? And actually, this is an indicator to us that our weather, our climate is changing. is out of our control. They can be suddenly so cold and can be suddenly so hot. All this is because of our environment is getting polluted. We have to do something. So with that, when it comes to food productions, when it comes to food manufacturing, and even in your kitchen, you have to start incorporating green technology. Yeah, green technology meaning that those that use less energy and try to reduce the energy or electricity wastage. Use more efficient technology. If one equipment can do a few functions, it's good for you to invest on that. Instead of, you need an oven, you need a steamer, you need, so many equipment in your premise. Why not you invest a combi oven? They can do both. They can steam, they can bake at the same time. So these are the things that you need to look into when it comes to green technology in the F&B industry. Yeah. Okay, the last one, the AI-driven. All of you know AI? Yeah. You have no choice to use AI. Everybody is using AI. But what AI can do in our food and beverage industry? Let me share you an example. This is a famous chef, yeah, in the US. And we know that as a chef, it's not easy. We have spent long hours in the kitchen, okay? Doing our cooking, doing our recipe. At the same time, we have others' role as a chef lecturer. We have to teach students. And as I share with the committee as well, actually, it's not easy to become a chef. While you are in the kitchen, the environment is so hot as compared to office with aircon. So sometimes, we can't control ourselves. Our temper will be hot a bit. Yeah. Okay, so please bear with chef, yeah, they have no intention, but the environment, yeah, we start to blame the environment. Okay, so with that, as a chef, we have to be smart. What we can do to reduce the time that we spend in kitchen. Yeah, so what we can do is to use AI. For everyone information, last time when we want to do recipe development, we had to do a lot of testing, cooking, all this. But to shorten the recipe development time, or especially when you have new ingredients, like I say, instead of using wheat flour, you can use some local ingredients in Indonesia to try out new recipe. So before that, you can always use the AI software or technology to check whether these ingredients pair well. And one of the example is this chef have used, who are working in this company, working closely with this company, and using the TasteWise software, okay, to create their menu. Yeah, to create their menu. Is it just, in this case, we no need chef? The answer is no. We still need chef. But what the software help us to do here is to cut down the time of R&D. Yeah, they tell you whether the food or ingredient, the taste of it is actually pair well in terms of chemistry or the science behind ingredients. So with that, they have come out with a recipe and used this menu to be sold in the chef restaurant. And the feedback are so good. Yes, we appreciate the effort of chef, but we have to reduce their workload. So AI or technology come in place, and we are in the right era to start using AI in the culinary industry. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I think a bit too much words here, like a lecture slide. Okay. So I'm not going through it. But for this one, what driven sustainability? Because a lot of time, as a director of Food Security Impact Lab, when I go up to give talk, especially when it comes to the industry, they ask, are you sure the sustainable trend is coming? I will tell you the answer is yes. Reason is, one, as I mentioned, is about the environmental. We have to care about it because we are sharing only one group, one world. There are no others than Bumi, right? We have only one. So this is what we need to take care. So this is number one point. The second point is you have to know customers have changed their mind, changed their preference. What they're supposed to eat, what they like to eat is changing. They are asking, and especially the new generation, they have very environmental conscious mindset. When they eat something, it's not about looking whether delicious or yummy or nutritious. They want to know this company produce the food or this restaurant produce the food. Actually, is it ethical? Are they looking at the environmental issue, what I mentioned just now, the 3 factors that you have to, or the 6 strategy you have to look into? Because, yes, you are facing, okay, because you are facing the challenge on meeting the new generation, okay? This is my slogan or advice to the food industry whenever they come to us. I will say, friends, let's develop or create healthy food landscape. Friends, let's create sustainable food landscape. Sustainable, healthy, the key words, the key takeaway. And lastly, personalize the nutrition for your customer, for your people. These are the 3 advice. Why? Because you are facing this generation. They are the one, Gen Z is the one that holding the spending power. Right? Maybe you say, yeah, okay, the Gen Z now is about working, but in 5 years, 10 years time, they are the boss. They are the ones spending power, that controlling the spending power, Gen Z. But unfortunately, Gen Z different from the Gen X or the millennium, the old people, I say old people. Okay, why? I give you an example. This is one of the survey done by Mintel, a global research company or statistic company. You know what? In their study, they found that Gen Z or the current customer, they are very contrasting in their mindset. One of the example is, I want something delicious, creamy, but I want it to be healthy, yeah? Meaning that they want healthy, indulgent in the menu. Healthy, indulgent. How? Actually, indulgent means that you have to create a food which is very rich, like fat, cream, high in sugar. So this is indulgent food to comfort us. But at the same time, we need it to be healthy. So this is the demand, not just a simple request, a demand from the consumer, especially Gen Z. So they want something fun. At the same time, it's proper nutrition to them, meaning that they don't want to have boring food. Okay, this one I've been eating since I'm young, so what else? This is their questions. So what you can do is, you have to create a menu or you have to create a food which is interesting element being added. That's the reason when come to fine dining, yeah, there are so many interesting things. A bubbles, a soup in bubbles. Yeah, the boba. Yeah, when you eat the juice or the soup bursts inside your mouth. How we can do that? You still drinking the soup, but there are fun element inside. So this is what we have to look at when we have to cater for the Gen Z. Yeah? So this is why we say that when it comes to innovation, this is what you need to do. Okay, so this come why product development or innovation are very important. You playing the role to cater to all the demand and using the new direction in the F&B industry. Okay, this is what I want to show you. When it comes to product innovation, we always feel the stress as a product developer, as a chef, the timeline given to us are so short, what we can do. And that's the reason, according to study, actually, you no need to develop or create brand new products. It's not necessary. When it comes to food, try to strategize under innovation. Innovation is different from development. Development is from total new, while innovation, you have an idea or existing products or menu, you improve it further, better. So that's why in the record of the new food launch, new food products launch, mostly the highest category are still the new variation or the improved recipe instead of newly developed products. Okay? All right, yeah, ingredients is your selection, what you can do. Here I'm going to introduce you some of the sustainable ingredients that you might think it works, and I know that in some region it might not, still not the focus, but I think for plant-based definitely is something that we can do because the trends have been here more than 10 years. And when another tree which I think is quite new or novel, we call, is the microprotein. Microprotein, whether you want to classify them as plant-based, I'm not so sure, because microprotein are more to fungi, mushroom. So currently there is research using microprotein in developing food products, healthy food products. Reason being is they are trying to cut down the meat consumption, but meat provides us protein, right? So if you're going to cut down protein, definitely will affect our health or the growth, especially on children. So what we can do, we use alternative. One of it is the microprotein from the fungi. They are very rich in protein that you can use it to enhance the protein content. Another one, I think, is insect protein. I was told that in Indonesia, the belalang, cricket is certified or is allowed to be or listed in as an edible insect. But I think now all over the world, especially in the US, in Malaysia itself, like us, we are also exploring other edible insect that can be a source of proteins. Truly understand that when it comes to the halal discussion, it might not be approved, but as I aware, currently in the Asia Association of the Halal, they are discussing and bringing this to the global level for discussion, how to certify some of the insect products, yeah, as potential alternative proteins in human consumption. And last one, very, I will say controversy or debatable topic on lab-grown meat, or we call it cultivated meat. So for the past 2 years, people talking about cultivated meat, whereby the meat is being taken from the live animals, okay, taking the cell and start to culture them. Okay, culture them, and we know from cell they will multiply, become tissue. This is how the organization of the meat or our body even. So the cell, when being cultured, and then they become the tissue, then there actually is like the process of fermentation. Yeah, multiplying the cell. As of now, I will go into more detail. The cultivated meat landscape is quite established in some of the developing country, but not in our in the developed country, but not really in developing country, except Singapore. 2 years ago, 2019, I would say, they already started to promote cultivated meat, and they are the first country in the world that have allowed commercial of cultivated meat. Yeah. So yes, we are not sure yet because as of now, the approval, I'm sure, haven't come to even Indonesia or Malaysia to sell cultivated meat, but they are in discussion as well. Okay, but as a researcher, as I said, we have to be neutral to look at the potential of all these novel ingredients. Yep, this is what I have mentioned just now. When it comes to microprotein, the one from fungi is already get more well known. And Malaysia, we do have our company called Ultimate who are focusing on this. And a Singapore company also have started to commercial their food product from microprotein. And yes, about the insect, if you go to a lot of publication, they are getting more and more popular and looking at the potential as human consumption. As of today, insect protein still more to turning into the feed for the animals, but not for human consumption. But now there is a trend moving towards this direction. And also lastly, as I mentioned, is the cultivated meat. It might be something aliens like, what? Cultivated meat? What is this space technology? Are we get mutant after eating? Yeah, so there is a lot of question. But as a researcher, we know by theory it won't happen. Yeah, because when we eat, the food go into our digestive system and digest it accordingly. So our cell won't exchange, yeah. Okay, but we won't know. We have to be neutral and see the coming, development in this industry. Yeah. Yeah, after sharing this, like I said, there are so many technology that we available us to look at how AI can help. And here, today I'm not going to dive into too much, but here are some of the technology currently I'm using in my teaching and research to see how we can make culinary industry a more sustainable, at the same time more advanced. Culinary is not just about skill. It's not. It's definitely not. But it's technology. So this is what something that we have to start exploring. So I've been using all this technology in my research, in my teaching, for the past few years when all this technology being promoted or so-called introduced, especially during COVID. We can't attend many physical sessions. So when come to online, when come to work from home, yeah, this is the time I start to explore all this. Yes, after giving some insight, what is happening out there, you might be wondering, are you sure this can be done? Can? Yeah, yes, for sure can, but not easy. Yeah? So, but I want to give you encouragement by sharing some of the case study or example how Taylor's University or how I incorporate sustainability technology in product innovation. Let me use the first example, banana trees.
Bonggol pisang. We call it in
Yeah.
Indonesia.
The pseudostem of banana trees. In Malaysia, banana pseudostem, the trunk, pseudostem, we don't really use it, right? We don't really, yeah. We use the bananas. We for eating or for those planting, the cooking bananas, we use it like the fried chips, like a snack. So we eat the bananas. Even the banana blossom, the flower, also we use it in our traditional cuisine. But the trunk is always being thrown away as a waste. Yeah, or we know that in Malaysia, we turn it to some of the feed or animals' food. Yeah, but for me, I'm looking at the potential of the banana trunks as ingredients to make human food. Why not? Because banana trunk itself, if you look at the nutritional value, they are very high in fibers and minerals. Yeah, and also, since this fiber is essential in our diet, why not we make it as a healthy ingredient to be incorporated in our food? So this is what I have done. And because I very much advocate on sustainable, I want students who develop the products, or when the team develop products, you must know where your ingredients come from. So I'm not sure it's fortunate or unfortunate. The students have to follow me all the way to the banana plantation and cut down the banana tree, definitely with the permission of the owner. Yeah, before they do the secondary plantation for the second cycle. So we go and chop down the banana trees and bring it back to our lab to process the banana trunk to become the ingredients. So with this, I hope the student will know where your ingredients come from, and they will start to appreciate how the ingredient actually no need to be exported. It can get it from our local resources. So this is what we have done from there. We have developed a series of products, healthy products, which is from the banana pseudostem. And yeah, these are some of the examples. And one of it, what I would like to highlight, is the instant noodles. If you still remember my story, this instant noodles lady wants to eat healthy instant noodle. Yeah, so that's why together with the student, we have come up with a high fiber instant noodle from the banana trunk. At the same time, pairing with the plant-based, or we say the vegan beef slice. So yes, we are talking about plant-based trend. So using the banana pseudostem, we turn it into a plant-based meat as well, and coming out with a wholesome product which is plant-based as well as sustainable. So cool. Thank you. Yeah. So as well, there are other projects that I'm working with. Yeah, is on the jackfruit seed, nangka. Nangka seed, yeah, nangka we know, is a plantation in Asia, in Southeast Asia. So I observe what happened in the current food industry. We preserve a lot of our nangka fresh to be exported, yeah. But how about the nangka seed? So I have used the nangka seed, okay, to turn it into various food healthy products as well. And we know that nangka seed is very high in resistant starch. Yeah, resistant starch is the kanji, is it called rintangan or something, that our body won't digest so fast, so they won't speed up our blood glucose. So this is a food that's suitable for diabetic patients or diabetic people. So with this healthy food, diabetic people also can enjoy the dessert like ice cream, like snack, example. So this is what we need to do. So this project has been successfully launched, and we are also currently in the process of commercializing it together with the industry, with the company. Looking forward one day, I can also bring the products to Indonesia. Yes, so this is some of the proof how we can come out with a plant-based ice cream from the jackfruit seed, and we have tested on the nutritional value and proven that they are low in sugar, also high in resistant starch as well. Yeah, again, as I say, to educate the next generation, it's not just we doing it. We have to educate our students who are the future talent. So again, all the project, I bring them on field, do it. I say, see where the jackfruit come from. Is it jackfruit is grow on the tree or is on the ground? Yeah, so from there we see how the jackfruit seed being processed, and we bring it back to our lab to do the R&D. Okay, and lastly also, yes, I do work with company on novel protein alternative, and one of the products that we have developed is using the black soldier fly larvae. So black soldier fly is a non-pest insect, so we no need to worry whether they will carry bacteria, pathogen. We are no worry on that, because for these particular products, again, I have worked with the company to form a bioconversion system in Taylor's University, And our students have to farm their own black soldier fly. So we fed the black soldier fly with clean food like the expired white bread, you know, the okara, the residue from the soy company. So then with the black soldier fly, which is safe for consumption, we have turned it to various food products as well. Yeah, again, unfortunately, the student have to deal with the insect. At first, the student is like, oh, are you sure? But sooner and later, they start to appreciate the experience because they understand what is sustainability. Yeah? So with that, we have come up with a product, with a snack, which is very high in fiber and protein. And I'm proudly to share that this product recently won in the World Food Congress 22, World Food Congress. And yes, we are happy to know that insect food, edible insect food, is start to gaining the attention and acceptance all over the world. So even though we are under the developing country, we should also take the lead on this. Yeah. So with that, I would like to conclude my sharing with you that when it comes to Asian food industry, we have a great potential. What we need to do is just to leverage on the culinary technology and get it a better industry. So with that, thank you very much.
Give a big applause for Dr. Chong Lee Chu. Yeah. Um, Thank you so much for the insightful presentation. Wow, I just know that banana pseudo terms, or we call it batang pisang, can be a noodle. Yeah. So now let's open for the floor. No, let's open the floor for the questions, and I encourage everyone to join in and feel free to raise your hand or type your questions in the chat box. So let's make this an interactive discussions. For question? Yeah. All right. First questions from Mrs. Rahmi Holinesti. Please, can someone hand a microphone, or you can come in to the front, Miss Rahmi?
Oke, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang terhormat Ibu Dekan bersama Bapak Ibu pimpinan dan hadirin peserta seminar semuanya. Okay, in this occasion, first of all, I would like to say thank you very much for the material that you have delivered to us today. Based on your previous research, I have one question for you, that we also have do the same things in our study program in culinary. Jackfruit can also be used to replace flour for making cake and cookies. So, what is the maximum replacer for the flour to make the good cookies or the cake in your study? Because we also learned that we use some waste materials from the dragon fruit leather and also banana peel. So we want to improve our understanding and to improve our discussion in our next paper. We hope you can explain to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Miss Rahmi Holinesti. Do you want to answer the question directly?
Yes,
Okay.
I think it's okay. Yeah, thank you for the questions. And I think I'm very delighted to know UNP is towards this direction and definitely looking for future collaboration. We can't determine a percentage of incorporation in a food system by just giving a numbers, yeah? Because food system is very complex, depends on what other component that you are using. For example, I'm not so sure your products, the composition, but if you are going for a gluten-free, meaning that you are not using wheat flour at all, so you have to expect that the texture won't be good because jackfruit seed itself, even though they are in powder form, they are lacking of the component like gluten that give you the texture. Right. So what we are looking forward from the jackfruit is more on the nutritional value, like the resistant starch. So, and also you mentioned that in your food system, it can, it might have other ingredients like the banana peel. Don't forget, banana peel is high in fiber as well. And we know that because the selection of banana peel, also because of the serotonin compound. Yeah, I kind of familiar with banana peel because I work on this as well. Yeah, so when come to, there are so many polysaccharide or the polymer, or we use fiber as an example, especially the insoluble fiber. Basically, they are diluting the food system. And that's the reason the mouthfeel, the texture won't be good. Yeah, so in this case, like I shared yesterday, you might need help from some of the functional ingredients or technical ingredients to boost up the texture. If not, I always advise select the right ingredients. For example, if you say that I'm not going to use any wheat flour, I want to use 100% nangka seed or the jackfruit seed, think of the products that do not need laboration process, meaning that they no need to proof. So you can choose these kinds of product and they are more suitable to be used to deliver the nutrients. Yeah, so when it comes to innovate products, it's not just about develop. Designing also is important. Choose the right food system. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Wow, I like the answer. Okay, the second questions. Okay, sir with the suit, you can come to the front. I cannot see the questions from the Zoom meeting, so maybe the committee can tell me if there is a questions.
Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, Professor Chongli. My name is Andre. I'm from Master Tourism and Hospitality, UNP. I want to ask about healthy food industries in Malaysia, and how about the market in Malaysia? Because healthy food in Indonesia so famous, like in Jakarta, but because I'm owner of healthy food in Padang, yeah, I want to ask about, I want to know about the market healthy food in Malaysia too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Andre, for the questions.
Yeah. Okay. How is the market of healthy food in Malaysia? I would say that Malaysia, Indonesia, actually we are at the same progress or status. In Malaysia, healthy food is definitely getting attention. And the request from the industry for us to develop more healthy food for them, I would say that is so much request, you know. And because currently in Malaysia, we focus very much on the vegan products, but I will say personalized nutrition is, we see the rising trend, especially when it comes to, for example, keto diet people. And there are more and more people going for dairy-free products in Malaysia as well, and as well as gluten-free. Last time, I used to wonder, you know what, why gluten-free products? Because celiac disease is the one that make us come out with gluten-free product. But mostly, the people who are patients who have celiac disease is in Western country and not in Asia country. But why the demand is there? And according to research, we have talked to some of the medical personnel, they did mention to us that gluten itself might not just because will affect the celiac disease patient, but more and more kids getting allergic to it. Yeah, so with this, there are more demand from the gluten-free products. So we can see that in Malaysia, we are trying to develop more plant-based option. That one is for the F&B side, for them as an option. But for others, it's more to the diet design. We are also designing, looking at the potential of designing meal or food for certain category of patient. We call it therapeutic food. So now you can see that when it comes to culinary industry, it's not just joining with food science or food technology. Even the nutritions come in, the medical come in. So in Malaysia, these are the current trends. Yeah, yeah. But then for plant-based processed food, I would say it's not that it's popular, but the demand is not there. So a lot of plant-based burger, nuggets, or this actually not really conquer the market. And not to say sad to say that consumer has their option, but maybe it's the texture, it's the taste, it's not meeting the expectation. But plant-based beverages is catching up the trend in Malaysia. A lot of people have started to change to non-dairy beverages. Yeah.
All right. Should we have any times for the next questions? Okay, last questions. Maybe this is the last questions from this session because we need to move on to the next session. So we please Mr. Wary to come to the front, please. And don't worry and don't be sad if your questions cannot address today. You can still talk with Dr. Chong after the sessions, and you can also email Dr. Chong's for further questions.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sama-sama kita hormati Ibu Dekan, Ibu Ibu WD1, Pak WD2. Prof, what we call that?
Chong.
Chong? Yeah. All right, I'm going to do that. Prof Chong, actually I have maybe my friends, my fellow friends, and my fellow senior, and my fellow junior also, as a lecturer, we asking about this one, this trend on 2025 maybe. We calling that anti-aging food, because we are not the younger, our age, not still teenagers, but we need to be fit, young, and fresh. So based on your expert as a food science expert, what kind of food we need to eat, we need to consume, we need to take a look to making our fresh, our face like glowing maybe sometime. We don't using skincare actually. Because sometimes when we take a look at skincare and your Fpp YouTube channel and TikTok, so many skincare brands, even though we trust it, but our money is not enough to buy it. But we need to, as the expert of food science, what kind of the food we need to eat to make sure our senior fellows and beauty lecture still young, fresh, as an anti-aging food. And the second one, last one, of course, this is a phenomenal. Mungkin, maybe kalau kita orang nak bahas ni, macam semua orang kat sini ni, semua orang ni kat sini sama, macam saya ni. Kita orang, as a lecturer, as an educator, we teach our students, they do not eat any place, any, apa je. Kita orang kalau nak makan ni, kita orang nak mikir, ni halal tak, bersih tak, clean kah, or any kind of that. But remember, our mind, our brain, always having like a tsunami, which is like macam ni barangnya murah, langsung kita beli. Kita beli, kita buy. Tapi kita lupa, ni barang bersih tak, clean kah, halal tak, macam tu. So we fight our brain and our mental of the healthy about our body. So what kind of your advice maybe for us, kalau kita orang ni, ada barang ni, ada makanan ni murah, apa je? Gorengan, goreng pisang, goreng apa, sebab goreng kita makan. Kita orang namanya omnivora, semua je kita makan. Kalau kat teman kita ni boleh kita makan je. Tapi tak halal maybe ya. Okay. So what can you advise to us ada macam slogan, tagline, think before we eat. So what can I advise for you? Macam mana kalau kita nak makan, tapi kita berfikir, oh, ini halal tak? Tapi perut kita lapar, ini harga murah. In your experience as a food science and expert, what can you advise to us and to my fellow senior and lecturer? Thank you so much.
All right. That was tricky questions to compare food and skincare. I don't responsible for what happening after this. Okay, please, Dr. Chong.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I like the question because it's really aligned with my mission and what actually we can do. Let me answer the first question. How we can keep ourselves young and pretty, okay, through food. Yes, fair enough, when you want to stay young and healthy and pretty, it can't based on one aspect. It's not just about food. Number one, you have to exercise. Your lifestyle determines how good is your body. So exercise, lifestyle, less stress, try to know how to manage your stress. This is number one, okay, to make sure that you stay healthy and young. And then, yes, food definitely. People say you are what you eat, correct? So, yes, you are what you eat, then we have to choose more food that consists of the antioxidants, yeah, that they have a phytochemical, especially from the plant side, then help to boost our immunity. Basically, out of so many, I would say the functional food, I personally focus more on immunity food, meaning that when your body is healthy, you look great. That's all. Then you look more pretty as compared when you are sick. Yeah, unfortunately, when I'm talking about immune system, yeah, today I have a little bit of flu, and you can see my dark eye circle. Yeah, 2 days ago, I look better before I have my flu. But yes, that's why when it comes to selection of food, if you say that I'm not afford to eat all the supplement, everything, then choose the food, especially fresh food. Yeah, that can provide you directly the vitamins, the minerals, and especially boosting your immune system. So boosting immune system, I think one of the category of the food definitely is fermented food. Yeah, so tempe is so great creation in Indonesia. Please feel proud of it. Yeah, you can always have the fermented food as one of your option in your diet. Yeah, so moving on to the second questions. I truly understand how you feel because I'm a food scientist, I'm promoting healthy eating healthy food, and also as a director of food security and nutrition impact lab, I'm so worried especially when in the campus, when I order food, I can't finish the food. Then the student or other colleague will say, hey, I thought you talk about food waste. Why there are waste in your plate on your plate? I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, I saw you eating fast food that day, yeah? How come? You asked us to eat healthy. I have that pressure as well. But I always share with everyone, to eat healthy, sometimes it's not just about eating healthy food as well. Yeah, you need to be balanced and enjoy your food. So since you like fried food, right? Fried food, full of oil. How? It'll get me fat, too much oily food because body will become heaty, we will have pimples. So what we can do? My advice is go ahead and have it, but in a moderate portion. Say easy. They have tsunami in our mind. What we can do? I will tell you, you can make something different. As a food scientist, as a food technologist, this is where you put in, actually kind of selfish, like I say, I want to eat instant noodle, which is healthy. That's why I joined the industry. I joined this field, create something healthy. So like you say that you like fried food. As a food technologist, we know that we can control the process of frying, deep frying, to make it less fat, correct? So this is how we can create more healthy, I cannot say healthy, it should be healthier food that is in fried form. For example, I know that now fried fryer is one of the way that we can fry food with less oil. But you say actually they are still different, yeah? So what you can do is look at the deep frying process. And one of the study we do is like, why frying, the food, we have to do double frying. As a chef, you know, right? First round, when you fry the food, you have to let it rest for a while. Then you have to second time deep fry it again. Then when you ask a chef, they will say like, oh, it become more crispy. Yeah, but as a food scientist, we know that it's because the water contents from the food itself have been forced out. The water molecule have been forced out. And at the same time, during the second deep frying, we allow the fat molecule to be released out that is captured in our food as well. So with that, actually the second time of deep fry can help to reduce the fat content inside the food. So yes, you have done something better, despite this is not the perfect one, for not taking any fat or oil. So you see, you have done something better. So I'm sure that there are more and more technology coming in that we can try out in our recipe development, in our process of cooking. So this is how you should put in your own interest into your research. Find a way how the food production or the food processing actually can make the food healthier. Yeah?
All right. Okay, thank you for the answers, Dr. Chongs. I think, yeah, give it a big round of applause to Dr. Chongs. I would like to, and thank you also for the questions. I would like to include the sessions, but we have no time anymore. So maybe I will just underline your suggestion to make zero waste as our mission in culinary and F&B. Consider the Gen Z preferences and have neutral in the upcoming technology. And finally, culinary is just not about the skills, but also technology. Thank you very much, Dr. Chongs. And finally, I invited our Dean and then our Vice Deans to come to the front, and also the head of the committee to give the certificate and also the souvenirs to Dr. Chong. All right. The certificate will be given by the Dean of the Faculty of Tourism and Hospitality, and then continued with the souvenirs from the Vice Deans of Academic Affairs, Dr. Kasmita. Okay, first we go with the certificate.
Again, we kindly invited for GM, our partnership, to come in front. Having a photo session, please, Bapak, Ibu.
Also, we invite our professor here, Professor Dr. Enawati, to come to the stage. And also Prof. Effie. And finally, our new professor, Professor Dr. Elida.
Professor, please come to the stage.
Please come to the stage, Honorable Professor Dr. Effie and Professor Dr. Elida.
Prof. Elida bisa bergabung di depan.
All right. Okay. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. And then the souvenirs delivered by the Vice Dean of Academic Affairs, Dr. Kasmita. Okay. Picture 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Chong, for being here with us. And I sincerely apologize for any mistake I have made during my time as moderator. Thank you all for your participation, and I look forward to seeing you again. Now I will hand it back to Mrs. Alfiza. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right, we have already done the first plenary session. Ladies and gentlemen, our next agenda is the second plenary session. There are two speakers here for this session, Associate Professor Lisin Chen and Assistant Professor Suganda Gupta, with the moderator, Bapak Samuel Martin Pradana, MTRT. The floor is yours. Give a round of applause.
Check. Okay, thank you, Ms. Elvisa, to invited me in here. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope that everyone is still eager to join for the next sessions. So now we go on to the third and the fourth speaker of our conference today, of the 7th International Conference on Culinary, Fashion, Beauty and Tourism, Faculty of Tourism and Hospitality, Universitas Negeri Padang. So our committee, please check for Dr. Chen is joined with us on a Zoom meeting. Okay, good afternoon, Dr. Chan. Okay. Our committee, please, for the sound, please. Yeah. Okay. Excuse me for Dr. Chan. We cannot hear your sound. Our committee. Okay.
Is it okay?
It is okay. In our Zoom meeting, your sound is so clear, but we were waiting for a sound to this room. Okay. Oh, yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay. Now we're waiting for... Yeah, okay. So we are waiting for the sounds. Okay, I would like to introduce our next speakers. Our speakers for this session is the Associate Professor Lee Xin Chan, who is joining us live from the National Kaohsiung University of Hospitality and Tourism, Taiwan. Okay, Professor Chen obtained her PhD in Travel and Tourism from Parks, Recreation and Tourism Management, Clemson University, USA. And Dr. Chan has specialized in tourism studies with a wealth of experience in hospitality management and marketing and management. So she has contributed significantly to the field through numerous publications. And today, Professor Chan will be sharing her insight to free roaming animals as stakeholders in responsible tourism development. And we are truly honored to have her with us today. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Associate Professor Lee Shin Chan. Okay. Dr. Chan,
Hi.
time's
Can you
yours.
hear me now? On site? Everything okay now?
Everything was okay.
Great, thank you. Hello, everyone. I know it's about lunchtime, right? And I'm the only thing standing between you and some delicious Indonesian foods. Especially, we have a really, really good section before me is talking about a culinary. So I promise try to make this talk as interactive and easy to digest. It won't influence your appetite. So first of all, I really want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the organizing team at Universitas Negeri Padang for the invitation to speak at this distinguished conference. Again, I'm Li Xing Chen. Now I'm the Associate Professor at National Kaohsiung University of Hospitality and Tourism in Taiwan. And I hope that in the future, maybe I can see you in Taiwan. Welcome to visit our university. So our university is focused on tourism and hospitality. All right. So today I will discuss some topics that really close my heart, and perhaps I feel it's a really truly underexplored, under-investigated topic in tourism management, which is about free roaming animals and their impact on responsible tourism. As a researcher, as a professor, I spent years to observe how these animals, whether they are stray cats, dogs, or even monkeys, elephants, horses, can influence both the tourist satisfaction, the experience, and also the local communities they inhabit. So today's talk is about how we can really turn potential challenges into opportunities by trying to embrace the concept called coexistence between tourists, local communities, and these free roaming animals. And I truly hope that by the end of this talk, I hope to challenge you to think more about our traditional views of tourism management, which is a really poor tourism mindset. We think about tourism can generate a lot of economic benefits. But that is after COVID, maybe we can rethink how can we integrate animal welfare into tourism planning, all right? So the first thing I want to invite you to join me this little activity. I call it reflection activity, and it's a mini story share, okay? So I believe some of you maybe encounter some animals such as dogs or cats or even monkeys while traveling around Indonesia or in other places. So now after section and section, probably it's time to talk, to share a little bit. So now I want to invite you to join this activity. Please turn to the person sitting next to you and share a memory of animal encounters while traveling. So it can be like you suddenly encounter a dog, a stray cat, or maybe the elephants, maybe the monkeys while you're traveling, okay? And share with your participants, or share with your friends. Reflect a little bit this experience. It is joyful, it is surprising, or actually a bit scary, okay? So I would love to give you 1 minute, very short. Can you start to talk to the person sit beside you, and then think about these animal encounters? Thank you.
Okay, so everyone, the Dr. Chain suggests us to the please to share a memory with another participant. The time is 2 minutes for sharing. Was it a joyful, surprising, or even scary encounter? So please to share with another people that near with all of you.
participants join us online, feel free to share your story, type it in the chat box in Zoom, okay? So I can know how many of us actually have this experience. Thank you.
Ya, mungkin silakan Bapak Ibu boleh sharing. Mungkin ada pengalaman-pengalaman yang terkait dengan animals mungkin. Ya. Or maybe Dr. Chance, maybe have one participant who can share about the experience maybe with the animals that we can share in here. Anyone?
I agree. Anyone want to volunteer to share your experience that you suddenly encounter an animal or free roaming animal while you are traveling to a destination?
Okay. Oh, so in here, one participant want to share in her experience. Yeah,
Perfect.
maybe you can join with me in here. Yeah. Okay. In front of. Yeah, please the microphone. Okay.
Thank you for the chance. Joshua Hall. Okay, maybe I have some story. A few years ago, in Indonesia, we have tourism sport. We say this Tour de Singkara. It's like a cycle racing. That's
So first, can you introduce yourself and where are you from,
so
Miss?
nervous.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, kesini ya berarti. Yeah. Okay. Joshua Hall. Okay, let me introduce myself. I'm Ovili Agnesia. You can call me Ovi. I'm the student of Magister Tourism in UNP. Maybe I have some story about animal in tourism. Animal in tourism. I have some story. A few years ago, we have some event like sport tourism. We call that Tour de Singkara, like a cycle racing. So that the event do in the village, so many like a dog that make the chase of the who break the bicycle. Karena dia lepas aja gitu, anjingnya bertebaran karena di kampung gitu ya. Bahasa Inggrisnya apa ya, Pak? Mau dibantu ya, Pak?
Sorry, I'll try to translate to you. So the dogs around the area makes an accident for the events. So there is an event, we call it Tour de Singkarak, where we travel with a cycle around the, lake. But there are a lot of dogs that make it, that sometimes making an accident with the event. And that, the question? For the athletes too. Oh yeah. So as the committee, when we need this event always continue and sustainable, what we do as a committee to make this event longest, and because we know that the area of the event is not that convenient, and it happens, and then it's held in the area of a village. Maybe that's the questions. Yeah, and also a large area. Yeah. Okay, maybe that's the questions. Yeah, I think doctors already understand.
Okay, maybe that's the one of the experience from our attendants in here.
Yes, thank you. That's a really valuable sharing. Thank you very much. So based on always, thank you for sharing your story. I think that's a really, really good example for my following presentation, okay? But first of all, we need to know that this incident happens like years ago, right? Based on the story. So you see that the animal encounters creating very, very lasting, sustainable memories that even years after that incident, we still remember that incident, right? So we know that the free roaming animal, the management or the monitor can really influence how tourists perceive the destination, right? Okay. I would also want to share my personal story with you. That is really inspired me to research this topic. Okay, so a few years ago, I went camping with my family and friends. So when we arrived at the campsite, we were greeted by stray dogs and cats that seems to have made the campground their home. Okay, so we are kind of like animal lovers. So we are okay. We welcome their company, and they follow us on hikes, share our campfire, and cats even slept near our tents. So we really enjoy the interaction. And these unexpected companions make our trip more fun, okay, more unforgettable, and create so-called like memorable tourism experience. However, when we were wrapping up our exploration of the village and getting ready to leave, the atmosphere took a sudden turn. Okay, so when we left, we saw lots of stray dogs that looked very sick and skinny, and it was clear that they won't be taken good care of. Okay, so then the feeling was very, very different from the fun and the joyful experience that we had at the first. Despite our strong desire to try to help them, we were painfully aware of our limitation. As a tourist, we cannot really help them, okay? So according to multiple studies, there's lots of studies shows that people actually, they don't like to see animals in pain, okay? And they will truly feel upset for animals that aren't treated well. So this kind of observation makes us really feel upset and totally change how we felt about the destination from very positive to very negative. So after I come back to my office, after I come back to university, I don't know if you have similar experience when you observe that type of encounter and then start to think about so many questions. For example, I asked myself so many questions. How do those free roaming animals affect tourist satisfaction? And what roles should DMOs play with tourists and free roaming animals? And can we balance animal welfare and also the tourism development? And what's the impact, positive or negative, of free roaming animals on local community and also tourists? Okay, can we use probably like educational program to improve this interaction? And how can we manage? What are the long-term effects? And how can the community involvement to play a role? Okay, so perhaps you have asked several questions like me as well. I think Obi, you just shared your story. Probably after that instant, you also think about a lot of questions, and it's good for you as a master student in tourism. It's really good to think critically, right? Finally, my deep reflection is, as a tourism researcher or professor, how can we or I do sort of research to contribute this situation? And how can my research or teaching make a big difference in managing free roaming animals and this encounter? Okay, so now after those sharing the personal story, you're probably wondering, what seriously are those questions relevant to tourism? Okay, so before we discuss further, I want to share some eye-opening statistic with you first. All right. So for stray cats, it's estimated that there are close to 6 million stray cats worldwide. And for stray dogs population, the WHO, World Health Organization, estimates nearly 200 million stray dogs globally. And let's say, let's put India in the spotlight, okay? So India has one of the largest street dog population around the world. It's with 62 millions stray dogs. So this to highest number of rabies deaths worldwide. And astonishingly, 77% of Indian population reports seeing a stray dogs at least once a week. Okay. Wow. So after seeing those statistics, you probably think about this will be a huge problem, right? Okay. But I challenge you to think about, can this also be an opportunity for tourism in Indonesia, in your home country, or in any tourist destination that you love? Okay. So I want to really collect a little bit data as a researcher, sorry. So I want to invite you to do a live poll. I know you have smartphone, right? So can you use your smartphone and scan the QR code present on the PowerPoint slide? And or maybe if you don't have this device, you can use your laptop or your personal computer to log into a website called menti.com, menti.com. And the passcode for this poll will be 1777-9652, okay? So I would really like to ask your opinion about this question. Do free roaming animals in Indonesia's tourist destination bring more opportunities or challenges? Okay, all right. So you just need to simply collect the answer, and then I will show the result later.
Okay, so Dr. James, need to us to can scan our barcode. So many questions to us to answer. So please to join with the barcode. Jadi kami mengundang kepada Bapak Ibu sekalian untuk boleh join dalam barcode. Ada beberapa pertanyaan yang diminta untuk dijawab sehingga nanti akan kita dapat bisa lihat hasilnya nanti. Silakan untuk boleh di scan barcode, ataupun bisa join with http://menti.com with the code 1777-9652.
Okay, I have some interesting vote. Yeah. Vote. Can the host on site to give me some insights? Can the participants join the poll?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I see many people trying to give a vote now. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor.
Great, thank you. Wow, okay. So I think you can see the results now, right? Okay, let's wait for 1 minute. Maybe there are more participants who want to share their opinion regarding, do they think free roaming animals in Indonesia's tourist destination bring more challenges or opportunities?
Okay.
Great. All right, so based on the statistic, my histogram here shows that most of the participants think the free roaming animal in Indonesia is actually way more challenged. 62% of our participants think it's more challenged. And only 8% or 7% think there's more opportunities, and 20% of participants think both equally. Okay, and some participants is really not sure about the impacts. Great, thank you for sharing with me your opinion. All right, let's going back to my presentation. Okay, since most of you think about this can be a challenge, let me share you some examples. Probably you will feel insightful. Okay, so. Okay. Can you imagine an island filled with hundreds of adorable and fluffy rabbits? It's not in fairy tale, okay? It's Okunoshima in Japan. Also now known as a rabbit island. So Japanese, they will travel to this island. Okay, they will have a tourism product called rabbit tourism, all right? So this island has a surprising twist, okay? It's actually once a secret chemical weapon factory during World War II, all right? So those rabbits actually go through those chemistry experiments. But now, since the soldier left the island, then they abandoned these rabbits, just let them live on the island. Now, after years and years, those free roaming animals have completely transformed this island destination image, turning a place of dark tourism, darkness, because it's associated chemical weapons, right? Now become a heartwarming tourist destination. So this great example really teaches about how history can integrate with nature's resilience, and the unexpected free roaming animal plays a key and critical role to transform a destination, all right? Let me give you another example. That's in Taiwan, okay, and it's in my hometown, Kaohsiung, okay? So do you see these cats? His name called Migan, okay? Migan is Mandarin orange, okay? So now he is appointed as the station manager of a very important MRT station in Kaohsiung. But actually, Migan originally is a stray cat. And now, since he appointed as the cat manager of that station, thousands of visitors visit this station, just want to take a selfie with Migan, okay? And they have really like a lot of followers on Instagram, okay? So not only Migan really affect locals, but even the mayors of Kaohsiung and the president, our president Tsai Ing-wen, also visit him, okay? And next example I really want to share with you. Can you see the video well? Okay. Okay, you can see the video. Okay, thank you.
Yes,
so this is a great example that I want to illustrate. This is also an example in Taiwan. Okay, so do you ever heard a village transformed by cats? So, well, located in the mountains of Taiwan, there's a town called Hodong. Okay, I welcome all the participants in this conference. In the future, if you have chance, please visit this village. Okay, Hodong. It's in the Taipei area. All right. So it used to be a coal mining town. However, faced a decline in its industry. So the population around 50s and 60s start to decline. And so the abandoned cats start to find a refuge in this town. And the locals, with their big hearts and some volunteers, start to embrace them and creating a unique cat heaven in this village. And so now Hodong has become a magnet for cat lovers around the world, okay? Hundreds of thousands of visitors come to this small village just to interact with those charming cats and just sit in the cat cafe and then experience that. So the community can create job-related tourism and encourage young people to come back to their hometown and make a good income about the cats tourism, right? And you think about, okay, visiting rabbit islands or cat village, maybe like a modern trend that because people want to take a selfie and then they want to post on Instagram. No, actually the fascination with interacting with free roaming animals goes back centuries, okay? So nearly 100 years, those free roaming horses has been rounded up from an island called Aztec. It's in Maryland in the United States. And they host an event called Pony Island Swim. So these events will attract peoples around United States to visit this village, to visit this island, to see these events. Although it's not really like Olympic game or Super Bowl, okay, but it holds significant regional importance and attracts a substantial crowd within the United States. And they can raise the fund for local fire department, okay? So those events that I put in as an example, actually it's really turning those so-called challenges into opportunities, okay? And certainly really contribute to the destination's positive destination image and also the identity. Well, but the story is not always positive, right? So while these free roaming animals can create positive outcomes, but also they pose some significant challenges that we observe. For example, ecological disruption, okay? So these animals can disrupt local ecosystems by preying on native species or competing with them for resources. For example, cats are really notorious for their impact on birds' population, okay? And also I know another big concern is public health, right? So this may carry and transmit disease to humans and other animals. And especially in tourist area, the interaction between visitors and these animals can increase the risk of disease transmission and create really not positive destination image. Another issue will be the cultural and social issues. So in some communities or in some destinations, the presence of free roaming animals can lead to conflict between residents and tourists, because tourists love those free roaming animals, but local residents are really fight against those free roaming animals. So create the intense conflicts between tourists and the local residents, okay? So for example, I know in Bali Island, there's a very famous monkey forestry sanctuary, right? And in Kaohsiung, my hometown, there's a place called Sosan, okay? So free roaming monkeys is really, sometimes become really aggressive. They will steal your food and sometimes they will jumping around, but tourists still feeding them, all right? So this is really creates some problems. And finally, they can also cause some economic harms, okay? So because they will compete the water sources, vegetation with the domestic livestock, so create lots of problems. So despite the widespread occurrence of free roaming animals in many tourism destinations and islands, okay, I found that there's a surprising lack of research on this topic. If you compare to the extensive study on wildlife and tourism. So if you just simply Google that, if you type in wildlife and tourism, you've got so many studies out there. But if you type in free roaming animal, feral animals, stray cat, dogs, and tourism, you see that it's truly underexplored, okay? And based on my experience, after I've seen all this research, I know that most of them are really like case studies. So the case study, they only focus on one place, and we don't have a really like holistic view to think about how to solve such problem and turn those problems maybe into challenge. Okay, so unfortunately, my presentation today probably bring more question than answer for this question. Okay, so back to my original question. After that camp encounter with stray dogs, the more I research, actually, the more question I have. Okay, so I think that understand the mix of free roaming animals and tourism is really like solving a huge puzzle. Okay, and I realized that there's still missing lots of pieces. Okay, so this gap is really call for more action. All right, among the researchers that we're seeing today during the conference, we identify there's a pressing need for comprehensive research to fully understand the consequence of this phenomenon and to develop a more effective management strategies that are informed by research. Okay. So I really like this article. I don't know if you, as a master's student or PhD student here in tourism, have you read this article before? Okay. So this article written by Professor Tenzin Jamal and Amanda Stroughton. This is research published in Journal of Sustainable Tourism. So in this paper, they ask very important questions. They ask, how does the tourism system fit with the protected area system? Okay, who can represent nature in negotiation over conservation and use? And how can plans, programs be effectively enacted at the local level for long-term success? Okay, drawn by this insight, today in 2024, we almost wrap up this year. This is so-called post-COVID era, right? And we experience this tourism revenge, tourism research, tourism recovery, all those things. But when we experience that, I truly want to ask, when we plan tourism, when we think about tourism management, who can represent the interests of free roaming animals within tourism system? And we can ensure their welfare while balancing the demand of tourism and environmental sustainability. Okay. And for DMOs, for the people that have the power to manage the destination, please, we need to ask ourselves, what strategies can develop to manage free roaming animals' impact while enhancing the sustainability and ethical dimension of tourism? Okay, of course, including Indonesia, Taiwan, and everywhere, because this issue is a big issue, right? So the DMOs should take an action and think about that. Okay, so going back as a researcher, our role is trying to develop some theoretical framework probably can help us to address this issue and this problem, right? So for the past years, I try to balance the benefit parts, the opportunity parts, and the challenge, the negative parts, to think about the complicated nature of free roaming animals, tourism, local resident, government, all those stakeholders, okay? So I start with a concept called cultural ecosystem service. So cultural ecosystem service, talking about that, we are not just derive the economic benefit from our ecosystem, but we can also obtain cultural benefit, tourism benefit, recreational benefit from our ecosystem. So can free roaming animal be part of these positive impacts? And also I'm thinking about another concept called ecosystem disservice. So ecosystems disservice talking about how ecosystem can harm the local residents' well-being. And of course, free roaming animals can create some disservice for locals, right? So I'm thinking about all these components and how they interact with tourism, interact with government, interact with the local ecosystem, right? But this framework is still evolving. I will call for the master student and PhD student in this conference, or maybe some emerging scholar, if you want, join this research. Okay, let's make this framework more complicated. Let's not complicated, more comprehensive, and then add more layers into this thought. Okay. Another framework I think that we need to maybe address a little bit, that's called triple helix model, okay? Because I think the free roaming animals is not just the issue by government, it should be tackled by multiple stakeholders, okay? So triple helix model talking about the collaborative relationship between academia. So it's you, now you sit in the conference, I see you a part of the academia. And also our industry, okay? Think about our industry partner. How can you collaborate with them to address such problems in your local community, all right? And of course, the society and the government, okay? So it's a framework that recognizes the interconnectedness of knowledge creation, all right? So if you are interested in such topic or any topic, probably you can think about that. Finally, in my paper that I just published in Journal of Responsible Tourism Management this July, okay, so feel free to download that article. I think that another important approach to think the issue, the factor free roaming animal in tourism, will be the stakeholder theory. Okay, so stakeholder theory actually help us to think beyond human actors and including non-human elements while planning tourism, okay? So this means that we need to acknowledge animals plays a huge and critical role in shaping tourism experience, okay? Just like my personal story and the obvious story regarding the sport tourism, that event. Okay, so that involves multiple stakeholders, but we need to put free roaming animal as a stakeholder into this framework. Okay, so before I wrap up and then I start to think about what should we do for the next. I actually want to share some positive potential strategies that probably can inspire you to think about how to manage free roaming animals in DMOs. And also, Ovi, from your question, maybe this example can inspire you a little bit, okay? So this is a place called Tainan. I don't know if you guys visit this place. This is the oldest city in Taiwan, okay? And it's known for its rich culture and temples and the heritage. But now it's become recognized for its pioneer TNR program. So TNR stands for Trade Neutral and Relics. Okay, so this program launched in 2010 by the NGO called Tainan Animal Care Society, and also they collaborate with the city government. So you see the power of triple helix model, right? And also some university put in some resource into that, okay? So the TNR program proved more humane and cost effectively to stabilize the stray population, okay? And after 5 years, they launched the TNR program. Tainan became the first city in Taiwan to achieve so-called no-kill status. So it means the free roaming cats or dogs there won't be like eliminated by some inhumane method, okay? So every free roaming animal can survive, okay? And so this is really a significant achievement in animal welfare. And now if you visit Tainan, there's a several village become a very popular tourist spot. So you can find like community cats, community dogs become part of the local landscape. Okay, so this really thanks to the TNR program. And so those cats really cared by the residents, by the volunteers, and then become a very successful story to integrate the power of NGO, our society, the power of university, academia, and also the government. Okay, so maybe this can inspire you a little bit. Another interesting example I would like to share with you, and I think that will be a win-win initiative for tourism planners to balance the animal welfare sometimes and also increase the tourist experience. Okay, so there are programs called walking shelter dog. Okay, walking shelter dogs. So this type of program offer tourist experience um, to help the shelter dog, help them to socialization and help them to exercise out of the cage. Okay, so for example, in Chiang Mai, Thailand, there's a foundation called Care for Dogs. They allow visitors to spend hours to walking and playing with the shelter dogs. Okay, so they use the power, they use the time of tourists to take care of the shelter dog. And also, there's another program called Beach Buddies. Okay, Beach Buddies is in Hawaii. They let the tourists to take shelter dog out for a day trip. Okay, so more people can observe those shelter dogs, and they can adopt those dogs. Okay, and also this type of volunteering activity, we call it regenerative tourism, right? It also creating a member experience for tourists. Okay, so Greece also have the same program. They encourage the tourists to be a volunteer in the shelters. So it's really a good way for tourism to give back to local communities and also to connect with the local culture and animal welfare. Okay, so as I want to wrap up my presentation, I feel like now, of course, pandemic influence reshape our tourism, reshape the tourism landscape. And now we experience the new normal, okay, new normal today, that tourism is coming back. But when we think about this issue, I really want to challenge you before lunch, okay? I want to challenge you to consider very critical questions, okay? As a tourism researcher or tourism planner, are we simply just seeking to recover the tourism before 2019? Just want our tourism looks exactly the same like before COVID? Or actually, it's a chance really to reimagine every stakeholder altogether. So maybe it's not free roaming animal, but maybe we need to step into the investigation that for the frequently overlooked component in our community. For me, is those stray cats, those stray dogs. And how about you? Okay, so I hope that you can join this social movement, not just think about the tourism for its sake, but think about this tourism as a system. Think about tourism to really help to create a win-win situation. Okay, so thank you. My presentation is not really long, but hope to inspire you a little bit for your future research. All right, thank you so much for joining me today, and then dove into a very often overlooked topics. Thank you, and I expect you have some maybe questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for Dr. Chain for the enlightening presentations. So we will now move on to question and answer sessions. So for those attending online, please feel free for type your question in the chat box. And for our on-site attendees, please raise your hand if you would like to ask a questions. So, anyone to the questions? Okay, for the first questions, it come from the Mrs. Rahmi. Okay. Okay.
Hello, good afternoon, Miss Chan. Can you hear my voice clearly? Can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, it's very honor for having you in the second time in our conference. I am Rahmi, the lecturer from Tourism Department. So I still remember your last presentation is about bicycle tourism. If you are still remembered, if I'm not mistaken, we are talking about bicycle tourism in the last 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, in our first conference with you. So it's very nice to meet you again, Miss Chen. And I want to ask about, to clarify my understanding, the first one is regarding to, can you explain to us about what is the differentiation between wildfire tourism itself and free roaming animals tourism itself? And as our condition in Indonesia, especially in West Sumatra, where Universitas Negeri Padang is stand here, so we have so many tourism village, and we see free roaming animal as challenging more than that opportunity, because it is very difficult for us to educate that actually animal can be also the sources of the tourism itself. It is also the opportunity for them to make sure that the animals and also the human can cooperate well in tourism and can make sure that there is a sustainable tourism there. So do you have any idea regarding to my questions, and how do we educate the community in that point? Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you for the question for Ms. Rahmi. And Dr. Chen, it's possible to answer us directly, or we're waiting for the next questions?
Yeah, I can very concisely to answer this question. Okay. So first of all, I don't really love to coin another term called tourism. I think we already have so many labels in tourism. We have wildlife tourism, ecotourism, sustainable tourism, responsible tourism, so many tourism. But free roaming animals, for me to see this subject, is actually a very critical component in tourism system. Okay, so that's why I encourage you to think about this issue from a triple helix model. Think about stakeholder theories. So take free roaming animals as a stakeholder when doing tourism planning. Okay, but back to the definition, what's the difference between wildlife and free roaming animals? Very easy one is the free roaming animals typically is not from the local species. So it's not like a local birds or like a local naturally inhabit in the your local areas, for example, like monkeys or something. That's always bring from the maybe the farmers bring about the human activities to bring to the local communities. So they are seen really like the alien species. Okay, so that's the difference between free roaming animals and wildlife. Okay, all right. And regarding next question, yes, that is a question that really inspired me to do research as well. And thank you so much for giving me some sort of minutes to address this important issue. Yes. So, how to educate local residents? I won't say that 100% that Taiwan example can really apply to Indonesia, because I think in your country you will have your own context to address this problem. Okay, so how we really do, we start from educate our next generation. So we go to elementary school. Okay, we go to the kindergarten. We want to educate our next generation first, so they can influence their parents, they can influence their grandparents, how to respect life. Okay, how to respect life. So we kind of have this government funding to support organizations, or university have the funding to support volunteers go to the local school. Okay, to share how to interact, how to respect life. Okay, and another example that I just give in the presentation, which is the TNR program. So the TNR program means like you don't really use the elimination, that really inhumane approach to kill the local population, right? Stray animal population, but you try to trap them and neutral them and then release them. And some of them, if they are really okay to interact with human being, what they do, we have so-called like cats cafe, we have so-called like dog cafe. Those cats and dog will be adopted by the cafe owners, and then they will interact with their customers. So customers, they will have the opportunities maybe when they enjoy their cafe, enjoy their cake in those stores, can adopt the dogs and cats. Okay, so this is not just like a one-way strategy that you use one strategy can address all the problem. Since these are really complicated issues, so we need to think about really like a lot of different strategy. But in Taiwan, really we start with TNR, we start with the elementary school, we start with the local cafes. And that's start to have positive impacts in Taiwan now. Okay, so I hope that answer your question a little bit. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Chen, for kind enlightening answer for that question from the Mrs. Rama. Dr. Chen, because considering the time in Indonesia is now entering the break time, then for other questions can be asked to Dr. Chen via email. Is it okay, Dr. Chen?
No problem, sure.
Okay.
Happy to cooperate and answer any question you may have. Okay, thank you.
So, thank you very much for Professor Dr. Chen for the enlightening presentation. So, we hope that we appreciate your time and expertise, and we're sure your presentation has sparked great interest among our audience. And we have a certificate of the appreciations for Dr. Chen. So here you are. So thank you so much for Dr. Chen for your times and expertise. And we will see you again in another conference. So we give applause for the Dr. Chen for these presentations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
see you
Dr.
in
Chen.
Taiwan. Thank you, bye-bye.
Thank you, bye-bye, Dr. Chen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the next presentations, while we are watching some video from Dr. Gupta video presentations, we would like to invite our guests to enjoy the lunch that has been provided our committee. So we go to the next sessions with the last speaker for today. So today, the last speaker is come from the Parsons School of Design. Is the Assistant Professor Suganda Gupta. Okay, Suganda Gupta is the Assistant Professor of Fashion Design and Social Justice at the Parsons School of Design. Born with albinism and visually impaired, Gupta advocates for disabilities as human diversity. Gupta Sensory Textile are a collection of textile and wearable that encourage audience to engage with their series of touch, sound, smell, and sight. Gupta research interests at intersections of disability, environmental justice, and embodied justice. So today, Professor Gupta will share her insight on interdependence in design. We are excited to learn from her expertise and gain new perspective on the future of fashions. So, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the video presentations by Assistant Professor Sugandha Gupta.
Hello and namaste everyone. I'm Sugandha Gupta, the Assistant Professor of Fashion Design and Social Justice at Parsons School of Design. I'm really honored and grateful to be delivering a keynote speech for this conference. So thank you so much for having me. Before I get started, I would also let you know that if you have any questions after my presentation, please feel free to reach me directly through email at guptas1@newschool.edu. So before I get started, I also want to share some access notes. So throughout my presentation, you will see live captions at the bottom of the screen. I will also describe any images that are pertinent to my presentation as a form of access and as also as a form of respect for all lived experiences. So just to start by describing myself, I'm a white appearing Indian woman due to the condition of albinism. I have short blonde hair, I'm wearing blue frames, and I'm wearing a deep blue wool woven dress. So before we get started, I want to give you gist of all the things that I will be discussing in my presentation. I will be talking about my background in the context of disability and also in the context of my expertise in interdependence. I will discuss the definition of disability and redefine it with some examples, and also it will be followed by a definition of interdependence and how that relates to disability, and also it will be grounded in the disability justice movement, and I will explain what that is. And then followed by that, I will share some creative work in the context of interdependence of my own work as well as some of my student works to illustrate what interdependence in design and creative practice looks like and feels like. And finally, I would like to leave you with some concrete ways that you can foster communities of care and therefore interdependence through your own practice and your own lived experiences as well. So, a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in New Delhi, India, with a rare genetic condition called albinism. This condition renders me legally blind, and I don't have any pigmentation in my skin, eyes, and hair. So, on the right, you are looking at an image of a person with albinism who is using a monocular lens. And on the left, you're looking at comparative diagrams of an eye with albinism and what that looks like in the context of how it filters light. And also beside that is a diagram of an eye of a person without albinism and how light is filtered through that eye which has pigment in it. So because of lack of pigmentation, I cannot filter light, which makes me very photophobic or light sensitive. I also don't have any peripheral vision or depth perception, and I'm also extremely prone to sunburns, which is detrimental for my health if it happens very frequently. So, disability is part of my lived experience, and also the way that I appear is part of my disability. And it is really important for me to share this information with you to not just establish myself as a disabled woman of color, but also to share that disability is part of my lived experience and it is something that identifies me but does not define me. So I want you to keep that in mind that disability is something that is also a whole experience and that it is an identity category for many and it identifies a lot of people and also helps us connect and form more connections in the broader disability community, but it's not something that defines us. We also have many other interests and experiences and knowledges that come along with that experience of disability. So on this slide, I want to give you a little more context of myself and my community and what that looks like and feels like, and also in the context of interdependence. So on the left is an image, is a selfie of myself with my parents and my sister. My parents, my mom and dad are towards the front of the image. I'm in the middle of the image on the right, and at the back is my sister, and we are all smiling and looking towards the camera. But I also want to illustrate and point out how there is a stark difference between my and my sister's skin color versus my parents' skin color, because they do not have albinism, but that is really what my skin tone would have been if I had not had albinism. So this is just to give you some context of what I look like and what my community looks like. On the right is an image of myself with my late Professor Emmanuel Suresh, who played a really pivotal role in my education and also in forming some of the ideas that I have today that I advocate for. He is a man with a dark complexion, and he has a very gentle smile, and he's wearing a khaki shirt, and I'm wearing big sunglasses and wearing a sleeveless red dress, and I have blonde hair as I shared before, and we are both smiling. So one of the things that I would like to share with you is a little story about how my work in design and disability advocacy started, and how my interdependence with my parents and also with my late Professor Suresh today informs a lot of my practice, a lot of my ideas. So a lot of the values and ethos that we have as people comes from our lineage and comes from our upbringing. And so in that context, I want to already share that it's all very interconnected for all of us. We're all gathering information, we're all learning value systems from our parents, from where we grow up, from the community we are surrounded by, which informs some of our advocacy, which informs some of our perceptions and perspective. But something specific that I want to talk to you about is the example of the steel ruler. So when I was in my undergrad and studying design at National Institute of Design, a very prestigious design school in India, I often struggled with using a steel ruler because it reflects a lot of light back at me, which prevents me from measuring or cutting accurately, which led to me injuring myself often and not being able to produce work that was expected or in the same way that it was expected. And Professor Suresh told me that if you can't see the steel ruler, if it reflects a lot of light and it prevents you from measuring accurately, why don't you create your own? Why don't you create one with a cardboard and use a black pen and mark very darkly all the markings? And this way it'll take the pressure off and you'll be able to see better. And even though it was a simple idea, it was really hard for me to digest it at the time because I was already struggling and it felt like more work. But over time, as I processed it, as I understood it better, I realized that what Professor was telling me was that I could gain access to anything I wanted. I could learn any technique that I wanted to learn if I just focused on my strengths and found alternative ways of doing things. So this planted a seed inside me, and it taught me that while it is difficult to be in a world that is not designed for my body, I can still find a relief. I can still find alternative ways of doing things if I thought creatively and if I thought through my strengths. So this is a great example to show you, to illustrate that our collective interdependence, my being a student and sharing my experience with Professor Suresh, and him being a professor who was kind and compassionate and willing to listen, lent me an ear and lent me a support system. And together we found a way to find alternatives for me to be able to carry on my education at NID in a productive manner. And this led me to create a system and an approach called sensory design, which is rooted in sensory textiles. So, sensory textiles is a body of work that I created to be inclusive and accessible to a wider audience and engage them through all their senses, such as the sense of sound, sight, touch, and smell. And this not only engages them in a way that's more cohesive with their experience, but it also creates a new way of experiencing art. And this system is rooted in my experience of sharing my troubles, of sharing my challenges, of sharing things that I need access to with my professor Suresh. And now I'm sharing this whole system with a new generation of designers, entrepreneurs, artists, and students, and also content creators. And so this is a chain reaction of interdependence. So I just want to highlight how my experience of being a person with a disability and then not having any access to accommodations, but then creating a system of interdependence with people who supported me led me to create this system and be where I am today. And in this image, you're looking at my hands touching the site of touch quilt, which was one of the first pieces I created towards sensory design or sensory textiles. And in this site of touch quilt, you see many different textures, such as my right hand is touching a piece that is full of balls of wool that are stuffed with cotton inside. And again, these are some things that are experienced more through touch. So it's very deceptive to the eye. You don't know what it feels like and how hard it is or how soft it is. But when you touch it, it creates and it reveals a lot of other sensations and feelings. So I just want to introduce you to a brief definition of sensory design, which is, as I said, rooted in sensory textiles that I had created. And if you want to learn more about the principles of sensory design, please feel free to go to my website and look at the definition and look at the principles of sensory design. And if you decide to use them, please feel free to use them and apply them in your practice and credit me for it as well. So sensory design is an approach to making through embodied experience and knowledge. It bridges access barriers for disabled and non-disabled bodies by using access as a generative tool for creation. It broadens the scope of engagement through multisensory interactions. Sensory design encourages designers to re-evaluate, recognize, and reconsider their idiosyncrasies and the foundation of design rooted in functionality to serve humanity. This approach calls on creative people to add variety, versatility to their creations through critical thinking, centering disability and authenticity in their process. So just as I described before, it is a system where we engage through all our senses so that we can offer access in multiple modes or multiple formats. And we encourage designers to think about their own lived experience while still learning from disability, while still getting to know disabled people, but centering their own experience along with what they've learned from disability, what they've gathered from disability, and then add versatility and variety, and also add the multisensory component to their work to then make it more exciting, more accessible, and just reachable to a much broader audience. So, as I promised, I want to go through a little bit more about how I think about disability, how the contemporary scholars are redefining disability. So, in the past or traditionally, disability is mostly seen through a very medical lens. A lot of people think of disability as impairment, as something that prevents people from doing things, as something that is very medicalized or based on medical prognosis of an individual. But this definition by author and scholar Rosemary Garland Thompson completely reshapes it. So let me just read that for you first. Disability is a set of stories we receive and remake about human variation that scientific medicine considers as disability, disease, illness, and body mind differences. So, what this definition is doing is it's sharing that disability is more than just the medical prognosis, it's more than just the challenges that we look at or we think of as disability. It's actually something that people with disabilities who are living in a world that is not imagined their body, that has not imagined their experience, they are reshaping that definition and remaking it through their own narratives and through their own ingenuity and innovation. So here's an example to illustrate what I just shared, the reimagined, the re-narrated story of disability. So in this slide, you're looking at, on the right, you're looking at two sculptures by artist Judith Scott, who you can see on the left of the image hugging a sculpture that she made. And she passed away in 2005. So she's no more alive with us, but her work is still present and making waves in the fine art world. So on the right, you are looking at an image of a sculpture which reveals or which looks like two bodies wrapped around each other with their arms wrapped around their heads. And it's entwined with lots of multicolored yarns and just kind of emulates this feeling of coziness and warmth and hugs. On the center of this slide is an image of another sculpture by Judith Scott, which looks like a belly, like a pregnant belly or even a cocoon, which is wrapped in orange and yellow threads. And on the side is some contrasting color like purple threads, but it's all deeply entwined, kind of almost like a nest or a cocoon. So Judith Scott was born with Down syndrome and was non-verbal. And she did not have access to education or literacy because she was already prognosed as being too retarded. But when her twin sister Joyce Scott took her guardianship, enrolled her in the Creative Growth Arts Center, and let her explore art and creativity with support, Judith Scott did find her own language through these sculptures. These were her first words. And she found ways to gesture, she found ways to communicate in a creative way. So there are many different ways that we can communicate. It's not just through our seeing or through our speaking that we communicate. We can communicate in many different ways. We're all creative beings. And so in this way, Judith Scott has reshaped her story and re-narrated it, and the world has understood it or found a way to bridge that gap of not having a verbal communication. But the world has found a way to view her sculptures as her language and understand it and accept it. So, going a little bit more into interdependence and being more specific about it now, interdependence, as defined by Merriam-Webster Dictionary, is the state of being dependent upon one another, which is also known as mutual dependence. So, for example, the air we breathe in nature is constantly being recycled for us, so we every day when we go in nature, when we go outside, we breathe in and we take in oxygen, and the trees and plants process it and process our carbon dioxide that we let out and recycle and create more fresh air for us. So it's just to exemplify the deep interdependence we have on everything around us, including nature, and that we really cannot live in isolation. So here's another example of how we are interdependent on systems, on environments, on objects. So in this slide, you're looking at three images On the right, there's an image of a woman wearing bright and really smart or chic eyeglasses that have a red frame and are very bold and big and have a pink kind of tab on the side. In the middle image, you're looking at a woman wearing eyeglasses that have pink frames, and she's also holding a portable fan. And on the left is a woman's back. You can see a woman's back, and she's holding a beautifully printed red umbrella in her hand and walking in the sun. So this just is to exemplify how we are so deeply dependent on products like umbrellas and sunglasses and portable fans that are perfectly acceptable, perfectly normalized in our society. But things like canes and wheelchairs and hearing aids or walkers, they're often seen as signs of weakness, illness, and stigmatized, which makes it really hard for disabled people or people with disabilities to navigate the world because it further creates barriers and it further limits people from seeing the whole experience of disability. So, I want to share with you and I want to encourage you to think about devices, whether they're medical or non medical, as opportunities for sharing awareness and educating people about how we can uh, spread awareness about disability as a whole experience. And just like we need accommodations as non disabled people in the form of glasses, in the form of portable fans, it's the same for disabled people. They need some of their own devices for some of their own specific experiences. So we must strive to think about making these objects cool, making these objects of awareness and conversation and connection rather than stigma and dogmatism. We are also interdependent on our students. So we are not just interdependent on them for listening to us, for cooperating with us in class, but we are also interdependent on our students for engaging with us deeply and creating work with us deeply. In this image you are looking at, I am sitting on a bench and a lot of my work is spread out on the table, and I'm demonstrating needle felting technique for Parsons MFA students. And again, this is an example of interdependence where students are learning from me, but then I'm dependent on my students for creating beautiful work and sharing what they've learned with the world. We are also interdependent on materials for creating new things, for creating craft, for engaging with craft and art. So in this slide, you're looking at strips of newspaper that are crushed and created into a ball of yarn, and you're looking at a drop spindle on the left that is collecting the spun yarn that I've created. So during the pandemic, when I did not have access to materials, I would just collect newspaper in my mail and recycle it and spin it to create yarn that I used for making new objects or new crafts. And so again, it's an example of how we create new interconnections and work with what we have. So interdependence is also something that is rooted in disability justice movement, and the disability justice movement was started by a group of or a collective of queer disabled people of color who decided and who recognized that disability is something that does not always create barriers or is not just limited to the medical prognosis, but it has so much more to offer, and it's being excluded. And so this collective of people, they used interdependence as a value to create a collective of care and foster interdependence as a way of creating access for people with disabilities who don't always have access embedded in the systems that we live in or in the environments that we live in. So instead of waiting for the state or the government to create rules and to legitimize access and to enforce access or accessibility. Disability justice movement engraved interdependence within their principles and encouraged people to think about interdependence as a collective of care. So I want to get into a little bit more of what interdependence looks like in the creative practice. And so here is an example of my friend Cynthia Bennett on the right, who's touching my pieces. And she's a totally blind researcher and scientist at Google. And in the absence of having a textile background, she remembers a lot of my work through what it feels like. And on the left is a piece that she commissioned to create for her, which is called Texture Map. And it consists of many different kinds of bubble-like structures, which are created by handmade felt, which has a combination of alpaca, blue-faced Leicester, and silk wool. And each of these bubble structures has a different object inside them. And it's only through touch and experiencing the piece that one can get more information from it. And so Cynthia's experience with my work through tactile engagement stimulates me and helps me create new combination of fibers that also spark innovation. Here's another example of interdependence in my work. On the right is an image of Katrina Rivera, who's an amazing disability advocate. She's deafblind, and she's wearing a sea garland. They named them sea garland that I was commissioned to make by Haben Garma. And you can see Haben Garma in the bottom right corner on the image on the left. And this was to celebrate Katrina's bachelorette party. But as you can see that these women in the left are wearing my sea garlands in different ways. Some are wearing them on their head, some are wearing them on their neck. And it's a multi-layered project. It speaks to how Haben reached out to me, another disabled woman, to celebrate disability and to celebrate sisterhood within her deafblind community. This is an example of my student work. His name is Carlos Simon, and he created this piece which is made of felt, and on top of the felt there in the center are pieces of clay. So he is from Colombia, and he wanted to recreate an experience that he had in Colombia, where they would gather around on the site and gather and stack just like pebbles and stones on the ground, and that would create a community. So through this piece that he created with felt, the felt symbolizes land and uses local woolen materials, wool fibers, and the clay pieces can be stacked together as a way of forming community and connection. So here's another close-up of the same piece. Again, you can see a little more of how these shapes of clay are asymmetrical, and they celebrate diversity in form and shape that all of us exist in. This is the work of another student, Hima Dholakia, and she is deaf, and through this piece she is creating an experience of how she experiences beats. So in the absence of being able to hear beats, she's experiencing beats through touch, through the vibrations, and through color, through sight. So this is what she's done with these upcycled paint bottles with yarns in them, and that are arranged in a dynamic manner to show energy, to show the vibrancy of beats. So finally, I would like to leave you with some concrete ways that you can create community of care and foster care and collaboration in your praxis, and therefore foster interdependence in your practice. And that comes with making and offering your work in accessible formats. And so when you have a presentation, use sans serif fonts that are more legible, like Times New Roman, Calibri, Helvetica. Use high contrast. I've tried to illustrate that throughout my presentation. Think about how you can create spaces where There's overstimulation. You can create a corner for relief. You can have some tactile fidget objects that people can touch and engage with that would help with relief. And think about ambient noise, because for a lot of us, sound is very important. You can use live captions through Zoom, through your presentation softwares like PowerPoint. Include sign language interpretation in your events. Um, have practice image descriptions. So what are you sharing? What is in front of you that people need to see? People need to view in a visual format. And also engage in multiple modes of engagement so that more people can participate and feel comfortable. Also, if you want to help someone that you see, especially like if you see a blind person on the street, uh, offer them your help. Ask them before you touch them or grab them. um, think about how you can use tactile materials in art exhibits so that you can again increase the accessibility of the art exhibit and have more forms of participation, and also build accountability in your process. So if you're a designer and you're working with people with disabilities, how can you form an accountability loop so that there's a better way for you to evolve and grow as a designer, and not just use use the experience of disabled people and let that be uncredited. So always think about building organic relationships, and be open to getting to know people with disabilities. So in this image on the left, you're looking at myself in the blue dress with glasses and a cane. I'm standing with my friend Cynthia Bennett on my right and my friend Wale on my left, and we are all blind, but we exist on a spectrum of blindness. So just like there's a spectrum of diversity of lived experiences of skin color, there's also a spectrum of disability. So don't assume, get to know us, and engage with us in forming more organic and authentic relationships, because you might learn something new and you might learn a new way of experiencing life. So just be open to that and make an effort to get to know more of us. And with that, I thank you so much for your time and for your patience and for listening. I have my contact details on the screen along with one of my other sensory textile pieces on the right, which kind of looks like a sea creature. So once again, I thank you so much for listening and look forward to engaging with you.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all video presentations from Assistant Professor Sugandha Gupta. If you have any question, you can just mail her at sugandha.in.here@gmail.com. So thank you to our speakers, Associate Professor Lishin Chan and Assistant Professor Sugandha Gupta, for sharing their infallible insight with us today. Your knowledge and expertise have undoubtedly enriched our understanding of the dynamic fields of tourism and fashion design. We also extend our gratitude to our audience for your engagement and thought-provoking questions. We hope you continue to enjoy the conversations and find them inspiring. I sincerely apologize for any mistakes I may have made during my time as moderator. Thank you all for your participations, and I look forward to seeing you again. Now, I will hand it back over to Mrs. Alviza.
All right, thank you, Bapak Samuel. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all our plenary session. We will have a break until 1:30 p.m. And then we will directly continue to parallel sessions. It will be conducted hybrid, and to on-site presenters, please join the room for technical and vocational education and training, or for TVET A will be in Singgalang 1, TVET B will be in Singgalang 2 beside this room. Culinary A is in Senate room, Culinary B is in 205, Magister room of Tourism Department. Beauty and Fashion is in 206, Magister classroom of Tourism Department. And the last tourism is on hall meeting room. For your information, all of these rooms are still on this building. And meanwhile, the online presenters may join the breakout rooms in Zoom meeting. Last but not least, we will find out the best presenters of the conference later on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will come back to you soon, and thank you.
Recording stopped.
dua-duanya yang ada orang kayak Zoom sama orang luar.
Singgalang 2.
Hah?
Satu orang yang orang luar kan?
Iya.
Nanti aja lah kakak ini kan. Pendek kan ya bagi video. Berarti video duduk nanti di mana kak? Video duduk di mana nanti? Singgalang 2. Berarti sini maksudnya duduknya di mana? Settingannya gimana? Oh kalau Singgalang 1 kan kita. Oh nanti kita buat apanya kan? Enggak pendek banget baju video doang kak. Lumayan lah ya kalau pendekan dikit. Ada masalah pendek lagi. Kecuali kalau Vio bikin di sini nih. Nah, aja kakak naikin nih.
Rido, Do, halo Do.
Ya, Bu.
Ala join ke break room orang Do.
Gimana, Bu?
Ala join ke breakout room. Parallel session kok?
Belum, Bu.
Oh, belum ya.
Masih istirahat, Bu.
Oke, siap.
Oke,
Suara
Bu.
Rido betul lain lo, tambah ganteng itu siang kok Jumat berkah.
In my heart I know that forevermore I'll wait for you.
The clock will tick away the hours one by one, and then the time will come when all the waiting's done. The time when you return and find me here and run straight to my waiting arms. If it takes forever, I will wait for you for 1,000 summers. I will wait for you till you're here beside me.
Terus nikmati momennya dengan kontrol penuh akan lagu berikutnya. Setidaknya untuk musikmu. Dengan Spotify Premium, kamu bisa memutar album dan playlist dalam urutan apa saja, tanpa jeda iklan. Dengarkan musik tanpa gangguan.
Bapak
tanpa
Ibu
batas.
dari pariwisata,
Ketuk payment untuk
kita
mempelajari
foto
selengkapnya.
bersama. Terima kasih.